Okay, welcome to the Seer Academy Class 3. And going to be talking on spiritual senses. Right. So, in this video, we're going to be talking on spiritual senses. So, just let me take because I don't know what is up with my Bible here. Okay, so I want to take the scripture from Genesis 1:27. Yes, Genesis 1 verse 27. So let me just I have to download a better Bible. Yes. So I want to talk about the spiritual senses. I'm going to take Genesis 1 uh 27. And it says, for God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Right. So God in Genesis we see that God created man in his own image. That means what image there? In form, right? And it means that he created man in the functionality of God, in the form, in the image of God. That is which he created man. And there's one thing that brings a striking difference from when we begin to think about these things, and we discover that how exactly um, can man be created in the image of God? In this sense, that God is spirit and man is flesh. Right? So basically, what I'm trying to emphasize, there's a lot that can be taken up from this particular chapter. But what I'm trying to emphasize is that spirit was created in the form of God. The flesh, sorry, let me take this back. God, which is spirit, created man, which is flesh, in the form of spirit. That means that we operate somewhat in the way a spirit will operate, right? And the reason why it was important that God created man in his form is so that he can feel man. So, a very simple example that's used is an hand glove, right? So, an hand glove is created in the form of a hand so that the hand can fit in. So, God created your spirit in the form of his spirit, your flesh in the image of God so that he can fit in. I think that is a simple explanation that makes sense. So, in that sense, we begin to understand that as the flesh basically operates, the spirit also has the senses, right? Has its own senses. Now we know that the flesh has seeing, hearing, feeling, touching, smelling, all these things that we believe that are operational in the flesh are also as well operational in the spirit. So the spirit also has senses, and with these senses are um things communicated, right? With this what senses are things communicated. So you need to understand that the spirit also has senses. So the way you react with the physical world is because of your senses, right? You react with the physical world because of your physical senses. That is smell, touch, sight, feelings, everything like that. That is what makes you a human without ability to have any senses. That is ability to see, hear, smell, touch, or that is not a human, right? So is not living. Somebody like that is dead. So a spiritual being also has senses, ability to see in the spirit, hear in the spirit, touch in the spirit, feel in the spirit. So that is how it operates. So basically, when we begin to talk about in the previous class, we were talking about searching, right? And with how it looks like, sometimes you might have gone through the first two classes and feel like okay, they said this, the spirit in me has information, right? But why exactly are people not operating in that consciousness? Because first of all, when they search, they don't know how to receive, because the spirit also communicates. You are interacting with the spiritual realm, you are interacting with the spirit in you. So at the end of the day, your spirit has to be able to interact, to catch it. And it's just like thinking of it in the physical world. Imagine you're living in the spirit realm and you want to interact in the physical world. You have to come here, you have to see, you have to be able to hear what people are saying, understand the language. You have to be able to touch things. So you'll be able to relate what you see here in the spiritual world. So I just made it inverse. So you understand the same goes with the spiritual world. So for you to be able to interact in the spirit realm with the spirit, you have to be able to see, you have to be able to hear, you have to be able to use your senses. So people, even though a believer can have access to information, if he doesn't know how to search, which is first that we discuss, and how to receive, because you can only search and receive by your senses. He doesn't know how that information will come into his spirit. He would just be void of it. He will just have this knowledge that, okay, this is a thing. But at the end of the day, he won't be able to operate in it. Right. So basically, we'll be listing out the senses. Right. I'll be going through that quickly in this tutorial. And the first one we'll be listing out. I'm trying to go through my uh, okay. So the ones we're going to be listing out are the ones that will be important for us. So sight, we're going to spiritual sense, we're going to sight, hearing, um, perception, knowing, um, impression, and this I can say nudge, right? I don't know if this is the right spelling of nudge. And I'm going to leave the last one, which is taste and smell. But I might add it. You might smell. Where is my hand? Sorry, boss. My keyboard is not actually I don't know, that's American or British. Everything is just wearing somehow. So we're talking about the spiritual. Let me just change it to spiritual so that we can see that. So I'm going to quickly be talking about how exactly to receive. So in every time you search the spirit, information will be communicated to you in either or more than one of these senses, right? Information you can also feel, right? You can also feel this. So information will be communicated to you in one, at least one or more of these senses. So that is how you get the information that you have searched. How do you convert that information to what you can actually be reveal in this realm, right? So first is sight. Yeah. So I'm going to explain spiritual sight per se. I said something important in the first two classes. I said every time the Spirit of God speaks to you, it takes your spirit to interpret the voice of God, right? It takes your spirit to interpret the spiritual realm, and that interpretation is thereby communicated to your mind, and that is how your flesh can get that information. So even if an angel is speaking to you, standing right in front of you and speaking to you, you won't actually see a communication. It won't be like mouth to mouth. The communication, the interpretation, how I put it, the communication will be done inside you. Even if an angel appears to you and communicates with you, even if Jesus communicates with you, it won't be mouth word for word, English for your English. No, the communication will be done through your spirit. Your spirit interprets that communication, and the revelation of what that particular angel, for example, is saying will come in your spirit. Okay, so you understand that the same happens for sight. So when the Holy Ghost is communicating a particular vision or an image it communicates that side to your spirit. So when it communicates that side to your spirit, it is interpreted in your spirit, and that side, that projection is shown in your spirit. So how exactly do we know that the first step to working in spiritual sight is by seeing within? Let me put it that way. By seeing within. That's the first step to working in spiritual sight. Understanding sight from within, right? In every growth of your sight, even if you see an object materialize into the physical realm, it is still from within. I always I think the most reason why most people do not actually see things materialize is because they think that that object will materialize from the physical, like your door is going to switch up to something, or the curtain is going to do this. No, it's going to be projected from within. In every time that I've seen an image materialize on the physical realm, is always like a projector, that is personally. So it's, even if Jesus walks to you, is not that Jesus is not in you, is a projection of the kingdom within that is projected. It's just like there's an extended projection. You are mature that there's an extended projection, not that it is different, right? So you understand that when you start to see, you have images from within. And an example how we use to start, and an easy example is imaginations, right? If I should ask you to, as you are listening to this message, there was a particular meal you ate in, if you're listening to it at night, there's a particular meal you ate in the morning, or there was a particular meal you ate yesterday. Any day you're listening to this, a particular meal you ate yesterday. And if I tell you to see that meal now, you would be able to see it. Like right now, look at that meal you ate, how you ate it, exactly how it was looking. I'm telling you to have that image. Go back into that particular scenario and see that image. You would see it clearly. So same thing if I'm telling you to go back to um, maybe a particular event that occurred a day before, maybe workplace or in a cab. You're in a cab. Some people, you really like, okay, I remember. Say I remember I'm in a cab, yes. But that occasion, let's put it like this, you remember that you are in a cab, or you are on bike, or you went to buy something. Just remember a particular event that happened the day before, right? You can remember it. You are saying that particular event. Was the event real or not? It is real. It was real. It happened, right? But you are saying it that way in your mind, a very clear picture in your mind, right? The thing that we refuse to understand that the Holy Spirit can give you an same image, not the same thing that happened, can give you the likeness of that particular view for somebody else. That means you can see what somebody else has done the same way you are seeing what you have done. So you can actually see a picture of what happened in somebody's life, right? Are we together? The same way you are seeing what happened, was it real or not? It was real and it has occurred, right? Some of you can go way back in time and look at maybe when you were young, there was something you were doing. You can, the Holy Spirit can give you the exact same vision or picture into your imagination about somebody, about an occasion you were not even present. And you begin to feel like I was there. This was happening. This was happening. This was happening. And it feels like you are remembering. And that is how you catch some sight, some images that the Holy Spirit give you through spiritual sight. Is spiritual sight. The thing about it is that most Christians don't work in this thing because they expect it to be spectacular. They expect the TV to show in front of you. But really, if you are trying to actually go back in time for your own history, you would, it will come as an imagination, it will come as a picture in your heart. So if you are going back in time and you want to know what somebody happened to somebody, why exactly do you not pay attention to the same type of picture that will come, that will feel like, okay, you are remembering, it will be like you are remembering something for somebody. I hope it's not sounding too complex, right? So that sight, that image, that thing we call imagination is spiritual sight. For somebody who has a spirit, you don't have a, they say this, you don't operate like the world. So it's no longer is a tool, it becomes a tool for the spirit. So it becomes sight. And the Holy Spirit takes control of that sight. And you can be in a location and it will feel like I was in this location and I saw you doing this and I saw you doing that and I saw you doing this. And it will be an image, just the same way you have that particular image, right? And that is sight. The same thing, there was a particular time that the Holy Spirit taught me something that you can have the same image of something that has not occurred, right? Just this night, a friend of mine messaged me and she was to go out somewhere for an event. And another friend of ours had a dream and saw her and something and felt like something happened in the particular event. And she screenshotted it and sent it to me. I was like, what is going on? That she has prayed and stuff. That should she go or should she not go? And all. And I was like, okay, just hold on, right? Let me see what is going on with. Because most people try to like send me stuff to interpret dreams and all. And basically, it's not like I'm interpreting the dreams with. It's just I try to get the impression of the dream, know what exactly occurred and all. So basically, I was okay. You're going for this event. I said first of all, as I'm looking at this particular dream, I'm not necessarily getting an impression of it relating to this event per se. At least not yet. If I was to get that impression, I would let you know. But no. But as I'm looking at this event, something else is going to happen in this event. And I begin to tell her that, okay, when did they say they are going to finish? I say I begin to see that this event is extended beyond the finish. And the event that the time was set is this time to this time. And I'm saying they will go far beyond the finish time. And I'm saying that this far before beyond the finish time, it will be a time you might not be able to go where you are coming from because where you are coming from is far and it's late and you might have to do change of plan. I said, but when it comes to that point, let me know. So I will help you know what plans you are supposed to change to. So in that case, you are not choosing the wrong plan and entering the wrong hand. And just this night, as I'm recording this video, because it's around past 11, almost 12, and she was like, I was like, are you done? So like, they are not close to being done. That you are so right. So in that scenario, how exactly did I get that information that the event was going to pass? What I did was I placed myself in that location, just the same way I would place myself in what I've done yesterday. I can place myself in what is about to happen. And the Holy Spirit taught me that I can put myself in a scenario. I can go to your house and in my mind, in my sight, I put my spirit in your house. The same way I will tell you go to yesterday to what you have eaten. How do you put yourself in yesterday? You sync yourself to that occasion of yesterday. This is kind of simple but advanced in the sense that it is so simple but spectacular. And if you can pick it, trust me, you would work spectacularly. So what I did was I took my spirit and put it in a location that has not occurred yet. And then I come into the consciousness that I'm in that event. And I begin to look at what exactly is occurring. I'm saying time is going and all. And I'm able to say this is what will happen. This is what will happen. This is what will happen. And it happened the exact same way. That is sight. The images that you neglect, it can be stupid, it can be dumb, it can be a mango, it can be. I think I remember the first time I was teaching somebody to uh someone very close to me to do prophetic, and I said anything you see, and she started to see things like jelly. She started seeing things like, and I gave her a name. I gave her somebody she doesn't know that I know, a friend in business, and I was like, "Who is this person? Pick a word." And she was like, "Okay, I begin to see jelly. This person is not straight." Blah blah blah. So as she was speaking the word, the thing related. So it was like jelly. I see things like jelly. I see. It was a very normal word, but at the end of the day, I was able to pick what exactly is in it. And she was like, and now I'm beginning to see like a car lot, and this person sells cars. And it was so shocking. She was so impressed that how is it possible? And I was like, how is it possible that you can know what this person you have never met is doing? It's that simple. When you begin to understand how spectacular the simple things that we ignore are, the things we call the imaginations, the pictures in our heart, we can use them to travel to the past and to the future. We can use them to travel to another person's past, to another person's future, and that is sight. Same thing comes with hearing. So if I'm telling you to hear a sound now, and the sound is saying a name, and name is Ade, I'm not saying that name again, but I'm telling you to keep hearing what I said, that sound, that name, over and over, over and over. How is it sound? Is it sounding? Are you listening? Are you hearing it as you're listening to this video? Yes, you are. You're hearing that name. Keep hearing that name. Keep on hearing that name. I mentioned it just once, and I'm sure you've heard it more than once. How did you hear that name? Spiritual ears. That is how you hear. When you begin to search in the spirit, that is how you hear. So if a person calls you in a certain kind of way, and it becomes registered in your mind that even without the person saying it, some certain sounds or name or somebody's voice become registered in your head that even without the person being there, you can hear it. You can re-hear what they said. So some can be like music. If I tell you to hear Mrs. Chinwo's song now, right? How she sang it, you can hear her voice and you can hear what she's singing without you speaking a word. And you are listening to the song. Listen to the particular song, or listen to any particular song that comes to your mind. It will come to me and it will play in your mind. The way that thing is playing, the Holy Spirit can speak to all these things are spiritual senses. So when you search the spirit, something can come like you have listened to this thing before, you have heard this name before, or you have had something like that. And one thing you need to understand about names also when it comes to spiritual senses is, as I said, we're in the form of God. God is spirit, but his senses is a spiritual thing. So what you need to understand also is just an extra advantage is for most name you will hear them probably complete. But a name you do not know how to pronounce or you have never heard before, you probably see them as pictures. So it's not only name you hear, you can see a spelling, you can see a letter, and the letter will just be as I okay, as we are talking now, see a letter M. You are seeing letter M. Some of you are seeing it in different fonts. Some is bent, some is straight, some is thick, some is bold. But you are seeing a letter M. Now you are seeing a letter M in your spirit. True or false? Yes. Change it to a letter N, letter I, change it to P, change it to B, L, K. You see. So you can see a letter, right? Every single thing. This is where sensitivity comes in. When we talk about spiritual senses, you have to be sensitive. Sensitive is the act of using senses. So sensitive is when your senses are opened, right? So when you say spiritual sensitivity, is not when you are folding up and doing goosebumps. No, it's being opened to everything within. So when you search for something within your spirit, you are open to what comes. No matter what it is, you try it. Okay, this came. I heard this, I saw this. There's an image in my heart. There's a vision, there's a little play in my heart. And you begin to confirm, okay, I'm seeing this. What exactly does it mean? I'm seeing this. What is that? Does this make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? And the same way you will go back in time and I will say, okay, go to your secondary school or go to your primary school or something. You can go into somebody's family you don't know and you begin to see strange images like, okay, I'm seeing you two brothers. I'm seeing like a brother. I'm seeing somebody is like a female gender. That is how it is. And it begins to play in your mind. So perception, sorry, we're taking so long on this video. Perception is the ability to perception works with the heart, right? um looking for the easiest explanation to explain perception, impression. So the way perception, let me explain knowing. Let me explain knowing. Because I'm looking for how exactly I can put perception in a way you will get it the same way I've been explaining the others. So let me explain knowing. Right. Knowing comes as like a download. It is a way. Okay, let me see if I can get a perfect example. The way you know your friend and you be like, I'm sure this guy likes beans now. He's like this. He's the kind of guy. Have you ever seen a place where you describe, maybe you're a girl and you describe a guy, this guy looks like the kind of guy that would be a playboy. He won't be serious. This one doesn't go to church. Like, it feels like there's a download of information about somebody immediately you meet them, right? A download of information about somebody immediately you meet them. That is knowing. And it is not, you are not getting, there's a bulky download of a particular, it feels like you can really read a particular part of them from up to down. You just have that knowing. I just know this person is like, it doesn't come as an information, it's just it sorry, it comes as an information, but an information that comes like in bulk. It doesn't come per se in sight, it doesn't come per se in hearing. It just comes as an information that comes into your spirit and you are bold about, right? There's sometimes um we do the prophetic, and I'll tell somebody, you have a boyfriend. Is not, I'm not saying a boy. I'm not, no, I'm not saying a boy. I'm not hearing that there's a boyfriend. I just know. Like, it's not, it's different from I perceive. Well, the reason why I was trying to get, when we talk about perception, knowing, and impressions, they are very similar, but they're actually different. So I'll try to see if I'll be able to make that difference, because in mm, saying it, in understanding it, I know the difference, but in explanation, I need to be able to put in a way you understand, right? So with knowing, there's sometimes it comes as knowing. I just know this person is this, right? Just know straight, like it's just download of information. I just know, I don't need to wait to hear anything. I'm just bold. It's an information that comes to me and I'm bold about it. Like, I just know, it just feel like I was there when everything happened, right? So when it comes to perception, perception is, you on this is okay, I'll put this thing with perception. Let me put it this way. Perception is when you understand the art of the person you are speaking or prophesying to. Impression is not on his art. Perception is seeing him, like and most especially you are seeing this person's art, right? You are perceiving things about this person in the way that is kind of deep. It's not just an information about the past or the future. Like, you understand his current spirit. There's an, I'll put it like a, let me put in a canal, not canal, but an English one, like a vibe. Perception is like energy. Like, you understand there's a flows of energy that you perceive a party. Like, I can meet somebody and I can perceive their spiritual level, their prayer life, and I'll be like, this person prays, this is a prophet. I can perceive their spiritual level. I can perceive their mental state. This person is depressed. This is not a knowing that I feel like this person is depressed. No, that's why I say it's kind of similar, but these are just the ways information comes. It doesn't mean that you need to start differentiating everything when the information comes, but basically for you to just know that if you feel it this way, it doesn't mean that it's bad. If you feel it this way, it doesn't mean that's bad. So I perceive that there's an information that there is, right? So in perception, there is an energy. It's like, but the energy comes from the person, right? It feels like it's coming from that person to you. Like, it's, I don't know, But an energy, it feels I perceive this. So you can perceive a mental state. You can perceive this person is not all right. I can perceive this person is not happy. It's like an energy they are carrying that is evolving that you can feel. Not feel in the sense of feel, because we're going to talk about feel, but in the sense that it is exuding, like you can literally tell, like it's a vibe. I don't know if that makes sense in, to the way I can explain it. That is a perception. So you can perceive the person's current state and it's prophetic. So you can look at a person and just feel like, I perceive this person is sad. I perceive from the way the energy they are bringing. They might not look it, but as I look at this person, it feels like there's an energy. The spirit is spiritual. Is you are connecting with that person's spirit. You are seeing more than what they are carrying. So you are seeing within that I perceive this person is this. And the opposite is not the opposite basically, but perception starts from an energy from them. But when we talk about impression, impression starts from an energy from you. So impression is you look at somebody, but you don't feel the energy in them. It's you feel it. Impression comes in, for example, somebody is feeling sad, and as you look at somebody and you want to pray for them, you get sad. And this sadness is foreign because it's not yours. You know it's not yours because I was not this. You just have this emotional overwhelming, and you understand this emotional stuff that was impressed upon your own heart is for them. That is impression. So perception is the energy from them. The impression comes starts from you, but for them. So you can feel what a person is feeling rather than you seeing that I perceive this person is sad. You don't perceive, but you have an impression in the sense that that's for impressions. You feel the sadness in you for them. So sometimes you can want to pray for somebody or you're prophesying for somebody and they want something so bad. Maybe they don't have kids and stuff, and you would feel the burden. Like you might have gotten that, okay, they don't have kids, right? Normal. But you might not a normal because you know that okay, this person's praying for a kid doesn't mean that you understand how painful it is. And it gets to a point where there's an impression of how painful that situation is upon your own heart. So you feel the emotions that they are carrying. You feel that burden. So you are easily able to explain that burden to them. Is also prophetic. It can also come in sometimes if you want to know if okay particular maybe an interpretation of dream and stuff, you are not in the dream the person is saying, right? So you put your spirit to search, and there can be an impression can come in fear, it can come in awe, it can come in power, it can come in spirit. You begin to understand what kind of situation surrounded that particular dream or that particular occasion. It can be like okay, somebody said they are traveling and there's an impression, there's a fear that comes on you about the situation. Be like, "Ah, no, this is not like you are perceiving or you are seeing anything. You're not seeing any accident or stuff, but there's a sudden impression on your heart that something off, and you begin to pray, and you begin to pray until that thing is off. That is prophetic. So a nudge will be like a pull, right? A nudge is more, I'll put directional per se, in the sense that you are pulled the same way you have. I don't know. I'm going to put this right. So a nudge is it happens suddenly, and you are pulled to do something. It's mostly directional, like touch this person, pray for this person. It might be you're walking in the mall and you pass a particular person, and you have a nudge to preach to this person, talk to this person. It's like a pull. It's plank now. They call it plank now, like compassion. Like you're pulled. You have a nudge to do something. Like there's a nudging. Like it's like a continuous banging of direction. Do this, do this, do this, do this. So that's basically then the feel is kind of I would say normal, the way the normal senses feel, like normal natural senses feel. So you can add a feel, right? It's also prophetic. I mean, like a spiritual fear. And Zalubrahatensis, Etulia Vrahantes, Pedokida. So you can have a feel, right? Sometimes this feel can even become physical, where this feel is not directly in your spirit. You feel on your physical senses, on your hand. It can be temperature, can be this, that, and all. And you begin to understand that is okay. Sometimes I've seen situation where a person is ministering or that you are ministering and you begin to feel a sensation in your right hand and you now search and know that okay, God wants to touch somebody. So that sensation is a message. So you can get that. Also taste and smell. So basically taste and smell too can come. There's a particular um time, it's not even a particular time, it occurs to me a lot where I can see somebody, I can as I see a picture of somebody or I see a particular person, I would have a particular strange sensation that I will know that this smell is foreign to what the environment is telling. Like I know what the environment smells like, and this smell comes foreign upon searching for somebody or just seeing somebody. There's a particular introduction of a smell. This is I can smell it with my normal nose, but it's not actually physical, right? It's still spiritual, and at the end of the day, it comes with an aura, like an impression, comes with an aura. Let me put an energy near it that it feels like I begin to get a sense of what this person is, who this person is, or what they are going through. Sometimes I will smell a particular, it will be desirous, it will be pleasure, and you feel like okay, they're in a good spot. And sometimes I will see somebody and smell a particular situation, I will know that this person is not really doing well, right? It can be a job, it can so basically when you begin to see all this you discover that when you search you are sensitive to everything within every single thing that comes. You begin to pick all the information and try it. Okay, I want to pick a word and I say eba. Okay, I'm saying amala. What does amala mean? You don't say no, 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 no. And in the next class we're going to be talking about faith. We're going to be talking about faith. We're going to be talking about the place of prayer. We're going to be talking about the place of consecration, right? So I'm going to be talking about our three things. But with this particular class, you'll be able to understand how to search for somebody. So after we talk about faith, prayer, and the place of consecration, then there'll be an assignment, right? There'll be an assignment. So with this, you understand that when you search, you understand how to be sensitive. You are ready with all your channels, all your senses to receive, whether in pictures, images, in sight, in hearing, whatever spiritual senses are on, they are on and they are ready to like receive the word. So you begin to okay, but do you know it might be what the person ate, it might be what the person likes to do, it might be cooking, it might the thing about it is right that when you begin to open yourself up, you begin to understand that God speaks in the way he speaks is so versatile, right? It doesn't speak in direction, like it doesn't speak like straightforward. So you begin to understand that okay, what does this mean? Does this mean this? Does this mean begin to so as you grow, you begin to know how to understand what all these things are and all. And it will be clearer to you, right? So understanding all this. Also taste, as I said, taste. A taste can come into can feel it for anytime you are pressing and searching. The highest indicator that you have received a word is when something is not the highest, but particularly, but you pay attention when something is distort, like how will I put it? You enter to search, you search in a particular condition. There's a way you smell, what you are saying, there's a way you are feeling. Then something foreign begins to enter into your normalness. You know the state in which you start your search. Then anything foreign introduced into that search is a word. Like it's what you begin to try and begin to speak. So the way I used to know that a word has coming is that I know I'm not think I go and when we talk about faith, we talk about prayer, we talk about concentration to tell you the state of mind in which you begin to search. Because that state of mind, you know how you start, and very important. I know the current situation that I'm using to start the spirit. Why do I need to know? Because I need to know when something's added to that current situation. That's sensitivity. I need to know when I'm smelling something different than what I started smelling. I need to know when I'm thinking something different. So when I begin to search and something pops in, I know that okay, there's a word. What is this, Lord? So that's sensitivity. And this took 40 minutes. So the next class we're going to be talking about that, and after we talk about that, we'll be doing practicals. And that practicals from practicals to practicals, then I would give some advanced class after you've gotten the practicals.